Hello everyone, this is Sonu Satyadas. Today we are going to see how we can set up the AWS developer environment in our local machine. For this, we need to install a set of softwares. We need to install the runtimes required for building applications, and we also need to set up an IDE. So here I'm going to use the Visual Studio Code as the IDE. So we'll be starting with the AWS free tier account creation. Then I will show you how we can create an IAM user, how we can create an IAM user profile in our local machine. Later I will show you how we can install the AWS CLI and the SAM CLI for building the serverless applications. How to install and configure the Python framework, NodeJS, and the .NET 6 for building the applications using Visual Studio Code. First of all, we are starting with the AWS free tier account. Let's see how we can create this AWS free tier account. For that, we need to navigate to this URL aws.amazon.com/free. So you can open your browser and then navigate to the page. So here you will be getting an option to create a free account, which will give you 1 year free tier account. Using this, you will be able to create the resources on the AWS account for free. But yes, the limits are applied on the resources. You can create only a specific set of resources with quotas applied on that. So you need to click on this create a free account. Then you will be redirected to the user creation page. You can click on this create a new AWS account button in this page. Here you can provide a valid user name, that means the root user email ID and the AWS account name, and you need to verify your email address that you own your email account. So I'm not going to continue with these steps because I already have a free tier account. During this free tier account creation, you may have to provide the details of your credit card for the validation. You need to verify your email account, so you need to mention a valid email account which is used as the root user email account. Once you complete the free account creation, you can log in as the root user inside your AWS account. After you create your free tier account, you can come back to the login page of your AWS account, and you can select the option root user if you want to log in as a root user. So since we have not created any IAM users, we have to first log in as the root user. So I'm selecting this root user, and then you can type your root user email ID here, and you can click on this next. You need to fill up this CAPTCHA. Once you log into your AWS account, you will get a dashboard or the console home page like this. You are the root user and it is not recommended to create and manage the resources as a root user. So the first thing that you need to do is create an IAM user with limited permissions. But for creating and managing your resources with full access, you can create a user with full administrative access. So for that, first you need to go and search for the service IAM, that is the Identity Access Management, where you can create an IAM user. Here in my case, I already have some IAM users created. So I'll show you how we can create a new IAM user. So you can click on this add users button to create a new user. Specify the username that you want to provide for your IAM user. So I can give the username as demo user, and then you can select the credential types. If you want to provide access through your AWS CLI or through SDK using a secret access key and ID, then you have to select this option. So your IAM user will be able to log in to your AWS account using the CLI or SDK or other development tools. And if you want to provide the browser console access also, means you want to provide access for your browser based console, then you can select a password based access also. So if you are selecting a AWS console access, you need to provide a password for your user. So you can either use the auto-generated password or you can provide your own custom password. So I'm going to give a simple password which I can easily remember, that you may need to reset during the first login. So here you can see require password reset. That means when the user login for the first time to the browser-based console, he need to reset the password. So I click on this next permissions. So here I can provide the roles and permissions for the user. So I already have a group created, that is admins group, which has the administrator access policy associated with that. So if you want to associate the policy directly to the user, not through this group, you can click on this attach existing policies and you can select this administrator access policy. Then you can click on this next. You can optionally provide the tags. Click on next. Here you can review the details of this new user, the username and the permissions, what is assigned. So you can see the managed policy administrator access is assigned to the new user, and then click on this create user. So once the user is created, you will be able to see the success page where you can see the secret access key ID and a secret access key. So you can download this secret access key and the ID by clicking on this download CSV. I'm just downloading this. You need to download this and keep it safe, because this uh, access key ID and the secret access key is required for setting up the user in your local machine when you want to work with the CLI environment. So I have successfully downloaded this, and you can go back to the users list and you will be able to see the newly created user. So we have created the user successfully. And now we need to log in as the IAM user which we have created just now. So for that, we need to copy the user account ID, that is your AWS account ID from here. I'm just copying it. Then you can sign out the root user account. So you'll go back to this page where you can click on this log back in, and the login page, this time you need to select the IAM user. So this will be asking the account ID where you need to fill your 12-digit AWS account ID. You can paste the copied account ID here. Click on next. Give your IAM user ID here, and then you can provide the password for this IAM user. Click on this sign in, and this is the first time you are logging in. You need to reset the password for your IAM user. For that, type your old password, and you can change this to a new password. Once you complete the password reset, you will be logged in to the AWS console. And to switch to the new console UI, you can click on this button and you will be navigated to the IAM user console home page. And you can change your region, which region you want to work with. You can select the region here. I'm selecting Mumbai as my current region. And if once you start creating your resources, you will see all the resources will be created in the Mumbai region, as I have selected Mumbai as my current region. So we have successfully created this IAM user and logged into this AWS management console. Now we need to create the local user account profile in our system using this CLI. For that, first we need to download the AWS CLI. So you can navigate to this aws.amazon.com/CLI. I'm just copying this URL and navigate to here. So you can see the AWS CLI is available for Windows, Mac, and Linux operating systems. You can click on the corresponding link for your operating system. Since I am using Windows, I'm clicking on this 64-bit Windows installer. This is going to download this AWS CLI version 2. Once the download is completed, we can start installing that in our local machine. You can see the AWS CLI is downloaded successfully. Now I'm going to install this in my local machine. So this installation may take some time. So I'm pausing this video. Once it is completed, I will continue showing you what is the next process. The AWS CLI is successfully installed in my machine. So now you can open your terminal and you can check whether the AWS CLI is installed successfully or not. So you can run the AWS -- version command to check whether the AWS CLI is installed or not. As you can see, the AWS CLI is installed, version 2.4.29. Now we can set up the AWS profile in our local machine using the AWS CLI. For that, we can use the AWS configure command either with a profile name or without profile name. If you use the profile name, then it will be considered as a named profile. You can also use a default profile which is created without any name. So to create a default profile, I'm going to use the AWS configure command. Since I'm creating this profile for the first time, it's showing none in the bracket. That means there is no previously configured access IDs or profile informations for the default profile. So what you need to do is you have to open the downloaded CSV file. When you created the IAM user, you got this CSV file. You just need to open this using the notepad or any editor, text editor, and you can take this access key ID and put that here. Now you need to provide the secret access key that also you can get from here. You can set a default region. So I'm going to set the default region as Mumbai. So it's AP South 1. And the default output format I'm setting as JSON. Yes, I have created the profile. The default profile is created for the IAM user. Now I can go and check the AWS profile which is created. So here so as you can see, when I run this AWS S3 ls command, it is showing the S3 bucket name that is there in my account. So if you don't have any S3 buckets created, it's not going to show anything. It will show an empty list. Since I have an S3 bucket already access, is showing that bucket name here. So this is just to test whether the profile created is able to connect the AWS account. So as you can see, I'm getting this S3 bucket name here that indicates that I'm able to connect to my AWS account. We have successfully installed the Amazon CLI or AWS CLI and have created a default user profile for our IAM user. Now we are going to install the required runtimes and frameworks for building applications. So first we are going to install the Python. For that we need to navigate to www.python.org/downloads website. So I'm taking this URL, open the browser and navigate to this page. So here you can see the latest version for Windows. I can see it's 3.10.4. So I'm going to download this. Yes, I got it, and I'm going to install this. Now let me install this with the default configurations, and you can also select this Python 3.10 to the path so that you will be able to run your Python from any location in your command prompt. So I'll select this checkbox and select this first option so that it is going to install the Python 3.10 in my machine. This may take some time, so I'm pausing this video. The installation process has been completed, and you can see the setup was successful. Now to check the Python installation, you can open the command terminal, and then you can run the Python version from any location. Yes, you can see the Python 3.10.4 is successfully installed in our machine. Now we are going to install the Node.js. For installing the Node.js, we need to first go and download the Node.js runtime from the nodejs.org website. So let me navigate to the Node.js website. So here is the Node.js download website. I'm going to download the installer for Windows. So I have this Windows installer MSI 64-bit. I'm selecting the 64-bit installer. As you can see, the download process has been completed. So let me open the installer. So I'm going with all the default values, and this is going to install the Node.js runtime. The Node.js installation is completed, so I can open the terminal and check whether the installation is successfully completed for my Node.js. So I'll run this node command version. Yes, it's showing the latest version 16.14.2 that is installed in my machine. Now I can download and install the latest .NET 6 framework. So there's a new .NET framework we have to install in our machine. So I can go to this URL, that is net.microsoft.com/en-us/download/.NET/6.0. Let me navigate to this URL. So here you will be able to see the .NET SDK which is available, that is 6.0.201. You can install the Windows binary or installer. So I'm going to take this Windows SDK installer, which is x64, which is for my 64-bit machine. So I'm going to take this, and here it is downloading the latest version of the .NET SDK. Yes, it's been completed. Let me open the installer. Click on the install. This may take some time. The installation process has been completed. Now let me check the .NET command. I can run the .NET -- version. As you can see, the latest 6.0.201 is installed in my machine. Now we can see how we can install the SAM CLI in our local machine. SAM stands for Serverless Application Model. So if you are planning to build serverless applications using AWS Lambda, you need to install the SAM CLI in your machine. For installing the SAM CLI, you can use this URL. This links I will be providing in the description. So you can navigate to this URL, and here you can see the links for SAM CLI download for Windows, Linux and Mac. So I'm going to the Windows, and here you can see the steps for creating and configuring the SAM CLI in your machine. So we can directly go to the step number 4, since we have already created the AWS account and configured the IAM user, and the Docker installation is completely optional. So we can directly go to the step number 4. Here we can download the SAM CLI. So let me download the 64-bit SAM CLI. And if you're looking for a 32-bit, you can click on this link. Yes, the SAM CLI has been downloaded. Let me install it. This may take some time. The SAM CLI installation is completed. Let us open the command terminal, check the SAM CLI installation. So let me run the command SAM and -- version. You can see the SAM CLI version 1.42 is installed successfully. Now we are moving to the next phase. We are going to install the Visual Studio Code in our local machine. So Visual Studio Code is an open source IDE for building applications. You can use it for creating your Python, NodeJS, .NET or even Java applications. So we can download the latest version of Visual Studio Code by navigating to the code.visualstudio.com/download page. Open the browser and navigate to this download page. Here you can see the Windows, Linux and Mac versions of Visual Studio Code. So I'm selecting the Windows User Installer 64-bit version. So you can also select a system installer 64-bit or 32-bit. Since I'm going to use User Installer 64-bit, I'm going to select this option. Here it is going to download the 64-bit installer of Visual Studio Code. Now I can click on this setup to start installing this IDE. Now you can see the setup is launched. You need to accept the terms and conditions. Click on next, and it's going to install in the users folder. Click next. And if you want to create a desktop icon, you can select this checkbox, and you can also see an option for open with code in the Windows Explorer context menu, and even for the directory context menu also you can see an option for open with menu. So this will help you to directly open the folder or file using the context menu option. So I'll just select that two options also and click on next and install this. This installation may take quite some time, so I'm just pausing this video. The installation is completed, so now I can launch the Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code supports lots of extensions for building your applications. Means it support the extensions for building Docker applications, for Kubernetes deployments, for AWS and Microsoft Azure Cloud, and source code management. So you can install the AWS toolkit in your Visual Studio Code. For that, you can go to the extensions and search for AWS toolkit. So when you search for AWS toolkit, you will see the extension available for AWS toolkit. Install that. You can also see some other AWS related extensions for building the Amplify application, for the CLI configuration, and many other options. So since I am using only the AWS toolkit, I just want to install only this. You can see the AWS toolkit has been installed, and you can see that at the in the left side here you can see an AWS extensions icon, and it is automatically reading the default profile which we have configured in our local machine. So we have previously configured an IAM user default profile using the AWS CLI. So it uses that profile and shows that information about our AWS services. If you have created some API gateways or cloud formation, or if you have some S3, anything that you have created, you will be able to see it here. So here you can see the S3 bucket which I have in my Mumbai region. So this AWS toolkit will help you to create and deploy your AWS resources directly from Visual Studio Code. So thanks for watching this video.